Scott's going to kind of go over what all took place, because when I went over to the hospital and saw Greg, he didn't remember anything other than the helicopter ride. He thought that was pretty neat. But I'm going to let Scott, because you know the council, we spent a lot of money on training and making sure we got great people and great tools and great equipment. And it all paid off. And I've asked Scott to kind of run down how all this came about and how it all happened.
And I'm going to add to that a little bit, Mayor. I've got a couple other things I'd like to say. So just bear with me. I will get there. 186,000 miles per second. Does anybody know what that is? That's how fast electricity travels. We deal with something every day that you can't outrun. You can't see it. You can't hear it. You can't smell it. You can't taste it. You can't even feel it. One thing you can do is touch it. That sounds counterintuitive, but if you'll ask these guys that put these gloves on every day, they can feel it. They feel it tingling their fingers. They feel it with the hair on the back of their neck standing up. Just like something out of Jurassic Park, where they created dinosaurs from DNA. We created electricity. We humans did. And we make it do what we want it to. We use it for entertainment. We use it to power the speaker, these lights, charge our cell phones. We make it do our bidding each and every day. But that's not what it wants to do. It wants to get loose. It wants to escape. And what it wants to do is it wants to hurt us. On December 15th, 2011, it did. We train, we teach, we practice. We put our employees through CPR and first aid. We've got AEDs in several of the buildings. We buy them PPE, glasses, gloves, harnesses in our business, the police and fire and the water. Everybody's got their own set of equipment unique to them. Does it cost money? It does. Does it take longer? It does. Is it worth it? It is worth it. We practice rescue procedures. And as the saying goes, if you prepare for the worst, you hope for the best. At 11:40 that day, the worst happened. Greg came in contact with 12,470 volts of electricity. At about that same time, the best came out. Individually, these three were at their best. All three of them. Doug was in the bucket as well. Ben was on the ground. Greg happened to be driving by. Greg saw it from the traffic light. Ben saw it. These two guys thought they were finished with what they were doing. They were coming down. With very little conversation between them, they all knew what they needed to do. Ben got on that truck and started lowering the truck when his fellow employee couldn't do it. Doug immediately knew that once Ben got the truck around with Greg in it to where he could do something, Doug knew what he needed to do next. Very little conversation going on between them. They knew what to do. Greg Burroughs sitting at the traffic light. He knew that once I get over here and get this dump truck parked, I know what I need to go do. And they did it without hesitating, without talking to each other, saying, what do we do? They did it. Collectively, the team functioned at their best. The police were there helping us. The police had the roads blocked. They had the intersections cordoned off. They gave us space to work, to do what we needed to do. They let the fire and rescue, they have ingress and egress. The fire and rescue folks, I mean, goodness knows what they did. They gave triage support to Greg when we got him on the ground. Not we, they. They landed the helicopter at Faulkner so that Greg could get to South as quick as he could. I don't want to try and name everybody that was there that day because undoubtedly I would leave somebody out. There's all details of that day that we're all kind of missing. We don't just, you just don't remember. You know, one of the guys asked Doug, said, how in the world did you get out of that bucket? It was 9 feet in the air. I could ask you right now, you don't know. But you want to know what toughness looks like? It looks like that right there. Once these guys got Greg to where there was nothing physically they could do for Greg, we kind of rallied the troops and said, hey, I hate to leave a fallen comrade, but you know what we have to do. We got to get the power back on. So there's grown men out there with tears rolling down their cheeks The last place they wanted to be was up there doing what they had to do. But they did it. They all did it. And that takes a lot of guts. It really does. But we're not quitters. Our group doesn't say quit. And we're not going to quit. We're going to go forward. You just heard Greg say he's going forward. You know, we talk a lot about, you know, you hear the old cliche, there's no I in team. Yeah, I hate that. You know, there's a poster somewhere somebody's got in their corporate office. Let me put that to you a different way. It's not about me. It's not about me. It's not about you. It's not about you. It's not about any of us individually. We talk about, we are our brother's keeper. We jokingly say, where's Scott? It's not my day to keep up with it. The way we work, it is our day to keep up with it. It is our day to make sure we go home with our fingers and toes. It is our day to make sure that our guys get home together, because what one of them does impacts what happens to the other one a lot of times. It's not an individual effort. What does that look like? What does it's not about me look like? It looks like these three. They don't think they did anything special. They'll just say, I was doing my job. That says it's not about me. I'm part of something bigger. You know, this is an example, this whole incident, of things done right. We could say, what if? What if I was in the bucket, Greg hadn't been, it would all be different. I can tell you a personal example. Thursday, December 15th, I was supposed to have our trucks dielectrically tested. I canceled it because we had work we had to get done by the 16th. And I told them all jokingly Monday, don't ask me for a vacation, we're not doing it. We got stuff to do. What if I had done that? What if I had let them schedule those trucks? They wouldn't be out there. We can what if it to death. I'd do it again. What we do need to do is, what if Greg had not had his fire retardant clothing on? He wouldn't be right here, right now. What if he hadn't had his glasses on? What if we had not set the substation breaker to the instant it saw a problem, it closed the electricity off without trying to come back on him? That's what we need to be what if. We did a lot of things right. This guy got hurt through no fault of his own, but everybody around him did a lot of things right. And that's what we need to take away from here. So I guess I'd say, you know, who would you want in your corner? I know who I'd want in my corner. There's a whole lot of city employees that did the right thing and really came to their aid of a fellow worker when he couldn't help himself. I'm really proud of these three especially. One of them says, you know, anybody else would have done it. I said, you're right. You did do it. And I'm really proud of the city personnel in general that responded. And again, I'm not going to try and name them. And I know Greg is. I think you should be proud of all of them too. I think they represented us very well.
You want to talk? Yeah, there's one person in the back, Cheryl, Greg's wife.